What's up, homies? What's up, homies? Welcome back, right? We are back to, once again, Tokusatsu, man. What we're going to be talking about today is right here, BoonBoomger, Bakuage Sentai BoonBoomger, the season that ended quite literally on Sunday, primetime Sunday, and it was on the Super Bowl too. Damn, wow, what a crazy fucking coincidence, right? Super Bowl was like nice, you know. I didn't get to see the whole thing because I'm not a big like football fan, right? But I did get to see, like, you know, the halftime show, or not the halftime show. I saw bits of the halftime show on Twitter, on YouTube, things like that. Very good material there, good trailers that were there. Not like my favorites, but like, yeah, they were there, you know. So, but that's like Super Bowl, and I'm not, like I said, not big into the football scene. But it was big for me in the sense of, like, you know, the latest, not the latest, but the recent Super Sentai series has just ended. Bakuage Sentai BoonBoomger, right? A story about handling your own wheel at the car, sort of shit, right? You know, wax poetic on that like metaphor, right? Bakuage Sentai BoonBoomger just ended with a surprisingly 48 episode run. I think like the shortest one, at least like in Tokusatsu from like my memory, would be Kamen Rider 01, but that's only because of the rise of COVID pandemic, right? Everything was like shut down, everything was halted in production, everybody was staying at home, especially Tokusatsu. So a lot of like the shit that happened in 01 was like abruptly, like, you know, tweaked around to maintain the rider superhero time scheduling. So that's why we get 01 with 44 episodes instead of the usual like 50 or 51, right? Oh, sometimes they do like, you know, 49 episodes, right? Sometimes they do like 49 episodes, but for the sake of posterity, right, this Sentai show ended closely to 49. It was 48. And man, what a fun ride, right? Like, we had the previous season was about King Oger, right? About an epic grand tale with, you know, big backdrops and an overarching like narrative and complex characters. No, like, of course there are silly moments, but it's not that much because King Oger was like the definition of a Sentai show trying to, you know, grasp the idea of aura or rawness, as it's called in social media. Like when you see the like the fine, like the what was it, the spin door, not spin door, sorry, I just noticed the chat. Hello, to Pooty 21, what's up? What do you think of the final episode? Do you think Spindor should give a chance to fight more against BoonBoomgers or against the BoonBoomgers or not? We'll save that for when we do like all of like the plot overview stuff too, Perry. Great, very good question. I'll save that and I'll look back on it. So don't you worry about that. I will answer that in a moment, in like after maybe some minutes. Hope that's okay. But thank you for the question, though. Let me just resize the chat over here to the top right. There you go. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, King Oger was all about narrative and was all about like plot, and that's really cool and all. But yeah, it was heavily devoted on like, you know, character and lore building of King Oger. So I appreciate that. So, but the trade-off is that it is like a tokusatsu like season. Yeah, and that's also true. Some royalty as well too, Perry. That is very true. Like the whole motif was about like kings and like, you know, your treasures that have been passed down to like, you know, lineage and things like that. That's also there. That's a very good point, right? Yeah, but the only like flaw I give for like, you know, King Oger was that there's only like little moments of like, you know, levity, like some like typical tokusatsu humor here and there, like a comical like body swap. I mean, there is a body swap episode in that season, but it's not like, you know, wacky or silly. Hence why we have like BoonBoomger, where yeah, we were kind of like somewhat devoid of like the wacky silly charm of a Super Sentai show, and then we get it into BoonBoomger, which is really nice. Of course, BoonBoomger has some like, you know, critical plot stuff too, but we're not going to get to that yet. We're just like having an impression of the whole show as a whole. And so far, yeah, BoonBoomger is like, it's the new age Go-Onger, or the Reiwa version of Go-Onger, or what's that? What's the Power Rangers Turbo equivalent of the Sentai? Car Ranger, right? Gekiso Sentai Car Ranger, just wacky, just humor here and there, right? That's what I appreciate about like BoonBoomger as like, you know, like a spoiler ahead for the review. It is pretty humorous a lot of like the time, and I dig that. That's like, you know, how I feel of like a Super Sentai show or a Kamen Rider show. Kamen Rider technically a little bit leaning towards more drama, but it is like catered to like, you know, young boys, right? That's like the initial like target audience to sell you like, you know, the toys, and you have like these like male figures, even like female figures, putting on like, you know, clunky as fuck suits and beating the shit out of like enemies, right? And there to like, you know, sell you that like, oh, these guys and gals are cool. Can I get an action figure of them? Can I get their rider belt or something like that? That's what they're for. It's not like it's forced as some of the past seasons have been, right? I give it that. Well, then again, I mean, like, everyone has, like, their, big, like, toy merchandise. I mean, I think, like, Dawn Brothers had, like, a big, like, toy, like, uptick in sales, if I remember correctly. Like, the Dawn Brothers bots and the alters are really, like, banger. I wish I had, like, more of them, but I still, like, have my, Megazord all the way over there, like, in the back, as well as the King Oger Megazord. So the toys definitely do wonders. I still have to snag like the Oger Crown Lance. I still have to snag that one, but it's unavailable at Amazon. It's there, but it's not Prime delivery. Like, I'm still like waiting on that shit. But yeah, BoonBoomger started at, when did BoonBoomger start, chat? Was it like March or was it February? So I just like looked it up. Sorry, I'll still like ask, but yeah, it's March. It started on like March 3rd, some shit, you know? So that's pretty cool, right? Started on like March, the month of spring, ran all the way to like February 7th. right? Not a really bad run. Not a bad run. We got a lot of like, you know, charm. We got a lot of interesting characters. We got some cool like plot villains. Overall, it was a good season, right? And let's talk about, you know, like what was it? I'll have like a big like marker at the start of this segment of the video that's being like recorded and will be up on like YouTube. Spoilers, right? Let's talk about like spoilers for BoonBoomger and how we like do this for every like season. We don't go over like each episode like bit by bit, but rather just like talk about characters, certain like arcs that happen like throughout, and that's about, and towards like the end, that's about it. And like overall, how do we feel about BoonBoomger, right? So I think we did the BoonBoomger impression on like the Wednesday of. We got like Taya, we got Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, Pink Ranger, right? And then we start to explore the other Rangers, right? We got the Orange Ranger. Sorry, the first in order was the Black Ranger, Joe Axel, right? Who is your standard police officer, then hired by a organization called the ISA, and fights for the people. He's your goody two shoes. He's like your Captain America of the BoonBoomgers. He will fight for what is right, right? Whether it be, you know, his own right, which happens to be true near the end. Oh, wow. And then we have the Orange Ranger, Genba Break, a mysterious man that talks like, or waxes poetic, you know? He is a charming individual. He is the procurer of materials for the BoonBoomgers, whether it be, you know, assets to help out in battle or just trivial matters, right? So that is the initial BoonBoomger team. And then we have other side characters like Boondorio Boondeadass, which is, you know, deadass, really funny, to like the name Antonio Banderas, right? Like that's like, yeah, this season was taking shots at like, you know, some very cool action stars that rose up in the Americas. In the Americas, like in the early 90s to, or sorry, late 90s to early 2000s, right? We get to see the villains bit by bit, like they're sprinkled out towards like the last arc. And by the way, the arcs for BoonBoomger are classified as laps. So there's first lap, then there's second, then there's third, and then there's fourth, right? There are 4 laps all together of BoonBoomger. So in the first lap, we got the introduction of the BoonBoomgers, and we got introduction of the organization Hashilians that want to take over the world by using a resource called gasoline, which is kind of like, you know, their lifeblood, their like life source, produced by like the agony and the screams of the human race, and that's what like powers them up. The main Hashilians, outside of the standard like trio that we see in every episode, I call them Team Rocket. They're called the 3 Sun-Seaters, Decotrade, Itasha, and Yadukar. All of them funny individuals. And fucking Team Rocket, man. You got your Jesse, you got your James, and you got your Meowth, man. It's like, wow, that's some subtle like, you know, references here and there, right? Working for Team Rocket, or the Hashilians. In the first lap, we get to see the main villain, or the first main big bad, Mad Rex. Mad Rex is one of the more endearing villains, like, I feel. Mad Rex was like so fucking cool. He like comes off as like, you know, a gang member sort of thing. Like he's like a tough like biker boy, and he has like a little bit of a rivalry with Boon Red, right? Taya Handle, and there was like a point in the first lap when all of the Rangers outside of Taya Handle questioned like their motives as a BoonBoomger, which is like they are participating in what's called the Big Bang Grand Prix, like a multiversal space race. That's where Boondorio comes from. He is a alien, not actually like a fucking robot. He looks like a robot, but he is an alien, and he can eat like organic material, like, you know, he makes curry and shit like that. All of the BoonBoomgers minus Taya and even like ISA were like surprised. Like, what the fuck? I thought we were like heroes of justice or some shit like that. Only like Taya, Boon Blue, Ishiro, and Genba knew. Not Mira, Boon Pink, and Joe, Boon Black, right? So they were like, yo, what the fuck are we doing over here, right? But they accept like Taya's resolve to like help Boondorio with his like dream to enter the Big Bang Grand Prix because he was like, you know, ousted for some illegal modification. The band gets back together right in the first lap and they defeat Mad Rex for the first time. Second lap is very interesting because not only for like plot that we get like our 6th Ranger and we get our new villain, but we also get some anniversary tie-ins, right? This is like a first for Sentai because I think King Oger really like blew up. Oh god, this here like yelling downstairs of like mom. But what was it? Shit, I forgot my train of thought. Help me out, chat. Oh, that's right. Anniversary episodes. We got an anniversary episode all about Go-Onger. Yeah, it was Sosuke Isumi? Is that his like name? Yeah, the lead red of Go-Onger makes like an appearance in one episode of BoonBoomger, and that shit was sick. You get to hear like, you know, the old theme, the old opening theme. You get to see Sosuke being like, you know, a fast boy, right? Things like that, right? Yeah, and those are other like Sentai anniversary cameos too, but we'll get to each one later with each arc. That's also really awesome. Oh well, we could talk about them. Yeah, like, dude, the fucking like, I was so goddamn happy. Because, yeah, because after Go-Onger, which is nice and all, I watched Go-Onger once. It was cool. It has a memorable cast, right? The actor always comes up live. He has his own YouTube channel. He always interacts with other legacy Sentai actors. But when I saw ToQger, which ToQger, by the way, is one of my favorite seasons next to Gokaiger, homies. Man, that shit is so good. I watched it like 3 to 4 times. Still good to this day. Still good. The literal epitome of like, yeah, you can make a children's show, but make it like impactful as all hell. I love ToQger. And the fact that they brought for ToQger, they didn't just bring back what was it, Tokyo 6, which is our boy Akira Nichino. Those motherfuckers brought back the OG actor, not the little kid, but the OG actor of the show, Raito Suzuki. My boy looks good. As soon as I saw that episode, I was legit crying. I was legit crying out of like tears of joy. It's like, my boy looks good. God damn it. When can we get a ToQger anniversary special? I want to see all my boys and girls back, man. What happened? Come on. And then in the next one, we got like a Gokaiger cameo, right? Though this one's a little bit iffy. I love Gokaiger, but I was really hoping for Captain Marvelous. But then they switched it up and brought in Gokai Blue, which is, Gokai Blue. Yeah, what was it? Joe Gibkin. Yeah. You see my man's like swinging with his like, you know, flamboyant like fencing style. I think it's called like fencing style sort of shit. Yeah, you got to see him back, which is, you know, it still is like, that's why again I'll call it iffy. Yeah, and it actually makes sense, right? As T Purdy 29 would say, if you watch the King Oger in Space special, Captain Marvelous was doing side missions that can explain a lot why Gokai Blue was there. Yes, that is very true in a plot sense. Still though, he could like, I don't know, he could like still make time, right, for like, you know, a red and red interaction sort of shit, you know? Like that would have been cool, but regardless, it still is awesome to see Joe Gokaiger back again, doing a Gokai change and summoning the Megazord after the events that happened with the 10 Gokaiger anniversary special, where the Gokai Galleon like got sabotaged and blown the fuck up. Spoilers. So yeah, like this season was awesome for the fact that they had all these like anniversary special episodes. All these anniversary specials that were like pretty goddamn fire. I give it like, you know, that credit like a lot. Another reason why he was talking to ISA, there was a hunch he will do betraying if red turned into blue. It wouldn't be that fun. Oh, Captain Marvelous. Oh, really? I did not know that reason. That's crazy. Oof. It wouldn't be that fun. I get you. It could have been. Well, yeah. I don't know how it would have turned out with like, you know, Captain Marvelous, but yeah, okay. I guess I could see it from that point of perspective, yeah. Right? So, yeah, the season was great for all of the anniversary material that dropped on us. And just showcasing like the love for, you know, these actors that were like coming back. Yeah, that's true. Just a little bit like biased because I love Captain Marvelous, you know. I love the swag that this man pulls. But yeah, Gokaiger is like everybody, right? Not just Captain Marvelous. So yeah. He did turn blue, but Joe still explains a lot since he is blue Gokaiger. Yeah. But that was like all the Sentai stuff, and imagine, right? The next season is going to be #1 Sentai BoonBoomger, and we're gonna get even more Sentai cameos. I hope so. I hope they're not just like, you know, like decayed, like random like actors that transform into iconic past writers or some shit, you know? I hope the OG actors come back some way, shape, or form, you know? But anyway, back to like the plot, right? Second lap, we got 6th Ranger Sakito Homura is the 6th Ranger, Boon Violet. And man, what a interesting character. They're like Ryu Soldier. Yeah. There were like a few characters there, but let's see. Who knows, right? Fingers crossed on that stuff. Sakito Homura and Byun D, the rival to Bundorio Bunderas. Byun D is voiced by Demon Slayer's Tanjiro Kamado. Really funny. And Sakito Homura is... Yeah, we're also getting BoonBoomger versus King Oger. Oh man, I can't wait for that one. I can't wait for that one. So both Sakito and Byun D are cleaners, or as they would call themselves, cleaners. They're mostly like, I think they implied assassins. Yeah, they're assassins from outer space taking care of like jobs here and there, right? They could also be, you know, delivery men, since they deliver like materials to the next big bad of the Hashirians, Cannonball, who is voiced by Naruto's Orochimaru, right? Which is like, wow, Orochimaru, oh god, I'd rather not hear that voice again. So Cannonball is a scientist of the Hashirians and has a fixed habit of like modifying creatures. He even modified Yarukar at like one point. Like, oh god, that's some violations there, sir. That's some violations right there. But there was no like impactful stuff, like no like plot or things like that. Just some like hints of what's going to happen in the 3rd arc. That is in the 2nd. Eventually, the whole team like teams up and defeats Cannonball. And then we shift into the 3rd arc, which is very, very interesting, right? We get our 3rd villain, which is Disrace, right? An eccentric character with a lot of like, you know, word puns and all about, you know, optimization, right? Things like that. And then we get lore about one of the Rangers and how big the scope of BoonBoomger is. Genba Break is no ordinary BoonBoomger. Oh, sorry. Let me just hit replay on the song. Thank you. Genba Break is a prince from the planet Break, right? The Break system. And he has a vendetta against Disrace because the Hashirians, yeah, Breaky. Yeah, literally Breaky. Disrace captures the planet Breaky where Genba is from. Got his dad imprisoned, and Genba vows vengeance to kill and destroy Disrace. And he goes off on his own solo mission, like he disbands from the team because we saw in one episode where he just like lashes out at Disrace, was so consumed with vengeance that yeah, he's not gonna stay in the team for long because yeah, fucking vengeance is goddamn cancerous, dogs. Like shit, man. You're jeopardizing your whole team if you like go on a vengeful manhunt against Disrace, dog. You better cut that shit out. You better cut that shit out, my boy. So Genba decides, all right, let me take myself out of the team to go pursue on this hunt. Even the other BoonBoomgers, like especially Mita and Joe, were like, man, he's our friend. Get his ass back. And they're such like sweethearts, especially Boon Pink, which I will future say Boon Pink is my favorite. Boon Pink is my favorite, dogs. She is so like, you know, pretty, and she has a lot of like cranked out spunk. That's awesome. Sorry. Yeah, and that's why the Tokusatsu bit was even more impactful, especially for Genba's arc, cause he meets another orange, Akira Nijino, right? Nijino was all about, in Tokusatsu, this is the place where I die. I'm just nothing more than like a soldier. Well, an ex-soldier that worked for the Darkness Line and wants to help see the rainbows, but will die at the cost of it. Like, I did a good job. Peace out. I'll see you in the next life. So, yeah, seeing like Genba willing to sacrifice himself for the sake of vengeance really resonated with that Tokusatsu bit, because they were both willing to lay down their lives for something, you know, better, for like a noble cause. One was like all about vengeance, the other was about, you know, not really existentialism, but just more like, I'll die for the sake of the good. I was touched by the rainbows, therefore I must die to keep the rainbows alive, sort of shit. And then like he tells Genba, Akira tells Genba, like, yeah, the BoonBoomgers are a tight-ass squad. You should go back to them. It's okay to receive help from them. And so they did. And they got like an upgrade, which is a whole squad team. Champion BoonBoomger, right? Which is kind of unlike other team power-ups, right? Whereas they get like, you know, like a cape or like, you know, some kind of like armor or things like that. Nah, they straight up have like jersey jackets. They straight up have jersey jackets, and I want one. I want a BoonBoomger jacket. That's the most cleanest thing I've ever seen. They just straight up have jackets. But man, does it look fire. So, with the help of the new upgrade that they got, and the new upgrade to the Robo, which is, you know, Bundorio Bunderas, who becomes the Robo himself, they defeat this race. And then we also get to see like some shades of like the inner machinations of the villains. There were like some instances back in the past 2 arcs about an evil version of the Robo called BoonBoomger Boom Killer Robo. Yeah, they did wear some jackets. Boom, we're stronger now. Right? That shit's so sick. That shit's so sick, man. Holy crap. Yeah, so we did get like also hints about the ISA, where they were like plotting like behind the scenes, trying to like make more BoonBoomger killer robos, right, as like, you know, weapon arsenal for Japan, because of course, hidden asshole organization. We also get to see like some other like characters that are really like important in the later plot, like Taya Sensei, Raito Naito, who was like Taya Sensei that helped him out, although not really master at the later end. And the ISA like working with the Hashilians, and we get to see that full force in the final arc of BoonBoomger, where we get to see the big bad of the Hashilians, Waloido Spindor and his second in command, Grants Risk. Oh, and in the third arc, Matrex comes back. He becomes brainwashed, or sorry, modified by this race. The team kills him, and again, sheds a tear for the 3 Team Rocket dudes, right? And then this race dies. That's right, I did forget about that. The fourth part was where the Hashilians teaming up with the ISA and just, you know, fucking up the BoonBoomger's like lifestyle. That's what happens in the penultimate shows, where we get to see, you know, the ISA gaslighting, no pun intended, gaslighting the BoonBoomgers as evildoers, bad guys, and the Hashilians as good guys. So you get to see that like the BoonBoomgers are like, you know, being robbed of their shit, and Waloido Spindor making an entrance. You know what's funny about Spindor? He's fucking Michael Jackson. He even does like Michael Jackson mannerisms, like ow, like, huh, okay then. Like, shit, all right, I'll see you, fam. But the ISA manipulates the news. Ashilians become the good guys. Waloido Spindor and Bundorio have a history together. Waloid Spindor and the Hashilians run the BBG, although illegally. Bundorio helps Spindor through some like event, and Spindor kills Bundorio when he tries to like save the BoonBoomgers. And the whole like end game up until like the very last episode was Bundorio on his deathbed and the other like rangers like in a state of like crisis. You get to see like Taya loses composure for losing his like best friend. Joe conflicted on whether the law is right or not, seeing as how the law became corrupt by the ISA. Sakito finding a liking to the planet Earth after being like, you know, beamed up by aliens when he was a kid, but now acts as like a protector. Oh, and Boon Blue had a little bit of a fake cover-up defect joining the ISA until later joining back them. And so the end game was this whole like clever plan that the BoonBoomgers concocted in secret and weakened Spindor after getting like a champion Hashilian power-up, and Bundorio comes back from the dead, and all of the BoonBoomgers, including Bundorio and Bune Diesel, fight together. So, yeah. And then afterwards, Spindor dies. A few months later, we get to see a new change in the ISA CEO staffing. Shirabe becomes the new chief. Naito becomes prosecuted and jail time because of illegal actions. And the rest of the BoonBoomgers, minus Sakito, who stays behind to protect the Earth, goes to the Big Bang Grand Prix to fulfill Bundorio's dream of racing there. And that's the end of BoonBoomger through and through. A very fun season, a very wacky season. Towards the end, you get like some plot, very endearing moments, but overall, it is a fun season. Now, for that question earlier ago, what do you think of the final episode? Do you think Spindor should give a chance to fight more against BoonBoomgers? Well, I mean, he did fade away into dust after using up all the gasoline from like, you know, from like the fights. Well, not the fights, all the accumulated gasoline that he gathered through the monsters of the week sort of thing. So eventually he would answer for his crimes, quote unquote. Not really sure, because that would be speculation. But he did say, but in his dying words, he said he would go out his own way, right? This is not how you make me do things. This is how I do things. And he just like, you know, the deuces and then the fade sign, right? And then the fade, like, you know, transition to like, you know, escape. Well, not escape, but to like disappear. I think like Spindor would have been like, yeah, if he didn't use up all his shit, maybe he could have been taken to court, but he would be pretty snide about it. He would accept it. He understands like strength to a degree, and yeah, he would have answered for his crimes, though he's not gonna be like sniveling about it. He's still like prideful, and he would like serve jail time. Even like Taya and Bundorio, they were like soft hearts. They would have still rescued his ass like through and through, cause Bundorio technically has a soft spot for him. Technically. But what's done is done, I suppose. You know, he went out in his own fashion. Sorry, just looking at some other stuff. But yeah, like BoonBoomger, I would finally give like a rating of probably an 8.5. I would probably give BoonBoomger's BoonBoomger like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I would say like an 8 out of 10, you know? Cause there was like this whole thematic of like evil, of like, you know, secret plans like in the work, which is like kind of littered around like the show, even towards like the final end. And then there were like, you know, like a hierarchy of rangers, right, that I would give for BoonBoomger, which is like my first favorite BoonBoomger would go to like Genba, because he was like super interesting and like debonair. Second would be Mira, because Mira's awesome. Third would be Joe. Fourth would be Ishiro, and fifth, third would be Joe. Fourth would be Sakito. Fifth would be Ishiro, and sixth would be Taya, right? Because yeah, you don't get to see a lot of Taya because he is like the same dude until he has his moment near like the very end, and his whole like motivation of why he is like, you know, the hero, the BoonBoomger that he is. Well, he comes from a rich family. Well, no, not work from a rich family. He worked hard to be like rich. But he heard like painful screams as a child from like a fellow like neighbor, and he felt so disturbed that he wants to, you know, turn screams into laughs, right? That was like his whole goal. So in order to do that, he must become an adult. But you only get to see that like towards like the very end. Every character feels like they're fleshed out, but Taya is like the same throughout. Like just like this smart, like 2 steps ahead kind of like guy, also like very rich. But you don't get to see that towards like the very end, where you get to see like his like true self. You know? You get to see more moments of Mira more than anything, I feel. Or also like Sakito, or Joe. Also, well, not Genba. Genba got his thing in the 3rd arc. No. But yeah, right? That's all of like the characters. The villains are also really good, especially Mad Rex. I don't know about Cannonborg or Disrace or Granstudisk or Spindor, but Mad Rex definitely takes it home, right? Even though he is like, you know, part of the Hashilians, but he drives his own handle sort of shit until he gets like resurrected and brainwashed by Disrace and he goes out on his own terms. And yeah, like outside of like Mad Rex, I don't think, you know, any of them were like interesting. They were just like, you know, typical bad guys, things like that, right? Team Rocket has always been a blast just to like, you know, watch them. And I didn't get much of like their toy sales though. Maybe like I would put it like, that's one reason I could like put it down. Their toys are cool, but maybe they don't have like a big like mecha, you know, things like that, like a God King Oger sort of status, or a, what was it, Toradora Oni Taijin Kiwami like form. No, it's just like the 2 Zords. That's pretty much it. They don't like big combine into like a big mecha officially. You can find custom models via, you know, Toku tubers or Toku streamers, but there's no official big ass like mecha combination for the BoonBoomgers. So yeah, BoonBoomgers is like an 8 out of 10. Solid season, a lot of like laughs here and there, a lot of like Sentai cameos, and just overall like a good vibe, right? It's got a great theme song, it's got a great Six Ranger theme song, it's got a cool ending, right? Yeah, all of it is pretty cool. It's an 8 out of 10. I liked it, right? Yeah, so BoonBoomgers is, well, technically finished until we see the King Oger and BoonBoomger crossover, or even the Gojuger and King BoonBoomger crossover, right? Since that's been happening since like Zenkaiger, right? They've been doing like specials after their main show is over. They do like future plot stuff where they do their crossovers, where you get to see not once but twice where they're at now sort of status, right? So yeah, we'll get to see more BoonBoomgers in the future, but yeah, that's pretty much BoonBoomger, homies. It was a fun ride. Glad y'all enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed it. All the laughs, all the plot, the drama, right? It was hella nice. Next week is gonna be Gojuger, and look forward to that live stream where we'll talk about the first episode impression of Gojuger, and yeah, let's see how it is, man. It's gonna be, I hope it's number 1. I hope it's number 1.